whatever it is. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
G, the Cambrian seems to, the maturation, you're seeing it from bug-eyed and wondering, and now it's kind of slowing down a little bit, not saying a lot. Would you talk about his maturation and how pleased are you with considering the reps he's had, how far he's come?
I think it's most telling, the feedback we got from his college career, and then when the scouting department, they did a good job when they met with those guys. Diligent worker, works hard in terms of, studying off the field and on the field, and he's really been a sponge. So, any young player being a sponge, listening to coaches, listening to players. The thing that's encouraging about him, the main thing for me is, aside from him competing and aside from him having all the skill sets, is the fact that he doesn't have a lot of repeat mistakes. So that's a credit to him. That's a credit to his coaches. They're doing a good job with them, but that's the main thing that's showing up for me. I mean, the skill set's there. He's big, he's long, he's fast, he's smart, he competes. But I'll tell you this: the progress he's made in the passing game. The thing I'm most proud of is the run game. He had some good run support the other day. That was good with that.
Patrick, you talk about players earning, their reps, and Thomas Harper seems like a case study in that, towards those last couple of weeks. What has he shown you, and what do you feel like his future is, in terms of the NFL?
Aside from his affinity to having candy on him all the time, I mean, you just check him. He has Skittles and all types of stuff on him all the time. So he's good for the snacks, so you can always check with him on that. But the main thing with him, he's pretty quiet, but he studies, and he's a sponge as well. I mean, again, I give credit to the personnel department. They brought in some guys that, they just young guys that are just hungry for information, and GA does a good job in that safety room of feeding them information. He's really taking it. The one robber, we had a one robber, I think, against Denver in the first game, the first half before the 2-minute. I believe he was the safety, and he dove down. He didn't get that same ball. Then you see it week 17. There's the ball, boom, bang, and it's an interception. To me, again, I tell you all the time, as a teacher, you take those two plays and you can show them, hey, this is where you were week 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Now here you are week 17, and you make that play, and it's because of his hard work. Hard work and the fact that he listens,
Obviously, you never want to see guys get injured, but because of as many guys you guys have had out this year, there's been a lot of young guys and maybe guys who wouldn't have had as big of roles stepping in.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, how valuable is that to you to be able to kind of evaluate your depth and see who might be able to be useful for you moving forward?
Well, just the 16 years I've been in the league, it's a young person's league anyway. Whether it's players, coaches, as you get older, you get more expensive, so they're always trying to replace you with younger players. So that's how the rosters are constructed. The young players are going to play, and especially in a collision sport like this. But it's always valuable, because those guys are hungry for the information. All the older players that I've had that are really good players, they're always hungry for information. But when you're green and young like that, you want the information. You're listening to everything the coaches are saying to you. You're gathering information from your experiences out there on the field, and it's always good to see that. It's always good to see that, and then the fact that they can stack it, okay, can you learn from your mistake and can you stack it and not get got on that again? That's always encouraging there. That's why that one Robert clip for Harper was so big, in my opinion. That was a good play.
Over these last couple of weeks, can you pinpoint a few things that you can say you're probably the most proud to see from your defense to end the season?
Most proud is to get 2 wins, and then I'll be even more proud or prouder, whatever the comparative is, if we get a third one. That's really what I care about to share with you guys. And then from there, it's their individual growth as a player as they improve. I talk about it when they come into the spring. You can go anywhere and learn about curl flat or playing outside leverage and man-to-man. Okay, I can help you with your football position. I can help you with your football IQ. I think that's the unique part of our staff in terms of our knowledge there, helping those guys with that. So it's the small things for me, Tyree with his base, playing with the base more often. Carter playing with better pad level because he's naturally cut high, playing with lower pad level. Spill having run stuffs on the other side of the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage more than he had last year. Those are the little bits and pieces, not necessarily having 100 and whatever tackles. It's like how many tackles do we have at the line of scrimmage or behind it? Because those were focal points when we talked to them in the spring. So those small things that aren't catchy or anything like that, that's what I'm proud about, but most proud when they win because I want them to get the reward of all their hard work.
Patrick, When you go all the way to training camp, there's always a next day for coaches and players. There's a schedule. There's something to do. After Sunday, that schedule, kind of dissipates a little bit. And so for you, have you given thought to what the next step is? Is this where you want to be?
I'll be miserable the next day. That's because we're not going to be fighting for the playoffs. It's the, I think, 8th or 9th year in a row haven't been to the dance, and I was spoiled with, Tom and Bill and those guys and Vince and those guys. My first 7 years, then my 1 year at the Giants. I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna be miserable. My kids aren't going to be around me. My wife's not going to be around me. I'm gonna be going through situations as I'm watching the games, but I'm so thankful that Dante Scarnecchia had told me we lost the first year in the wild card, and I think he asked me did I watch the games, and I said no, and for the divisional round, and he said you gotta learn from it. You gotta digest it. You gotta learn from it for when the opportunity comes. So, reluctantly, that's what I'll be doing. I will be miserable, but that's the thing. It's hard when you don't make it to the dance. The biggest thing in this league is about production and winning. So that's what you want to do. But I'll get over it and then readjust and get back to it and figure out how to get to the dance. Just get a chance.
Patrick, that's a great answer, but specifically to what Vinny asked you about coming back, you've done a tremendous job here, and obviously your name has been floated a lot as a head coach, but is coming back to the Raiders something that you'd be desirous of?
First, the great job is that's not true. we haven't won, so that's how I judge it. So I love the relationship with the players and this organization, but I'm focused on the Chargers. But the misnomer or the miscalculation of it being a great job, I got to do a better job. Period. Point blank. That's how I judge it.
How you describe your relationship with Rob Leonard and the partnership you guys have on the staff?
Me and Robbie go way back. He was assistant D-line. The thing I was just talking to him this morning about it, just the way his teaching progression, again, the teachers I've been around in terms of coaches, is bar none one of the best progressions and setups that I've been around. Doesn't matter what position. Robbie could coach any spot on the field. If I need him to go coach the dime backer, the post safety, the nose tackle, the inside linebackers, the wealth of knowledge that he has and the way he's able to present it to the players. I always told him back in the day, like whenever I have a hand in hiring people, I want people that are better around me. He's better than me. GA's better than me. Those guys are better than me. That's why I want them around me. I'm in this position like that, but got some good teachers on the staff, man. Robbie's one of them. He's one of them. So the relationship, we want to win more games. I'm sure it's strained because we haven't won enough games, but the relationship is great with him and his family. I'm so proud of the wealth of knowledge he has with the game and how he's progressed as a leader, how he's able to change the culture in the room, so it's really good to see.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Scott Aiden continues to progress, both showing mobility. There was a couple of reads that he made on Sunday that have never seen him make before, going to the pressure. Just his maturation, would you discuss it? Because it's quite noticeable.
Yeah, I think just the comfort level with what we've been doing. Obviously, it's been half a year, but we're into half a year. Just the communication I've had with him. He didn't play when I took over initially, but just listening to me talk, and then we've had a relationship for 2 years. You know what I mean? And then it just so he kind of knows how I think a little bit, and just the more that we've communicated and. Him understanding what I'm thinking about, and also just he's a young player in the league too. So the more he plays, he's a cerebral guy. The more he sees, he can anticipate. If this happens, then this is my answer. And I think it's all just kind of coming together. And every game's different and stuff like that. And the path to success isn't a straight line. You know what I mean? So there's bumps in the road, and there will continue to be. But I think he's doing a great job of handling all that, the ups and downs, and everything that comes with playing quarterback.
Very young,
yeah.
But do you believe he has the ability to be a QB1 in this league?
Yeah, that's a tough question to ask. I think he does. There's so many circumstances that go into that, but I just think the progression. He plays fast. Obviously we're not going to sit here and say he's a great athlete, but being able to get a couple first downs with his legs or extend plays to get the ball out, we've seen him being able to do that, and I don't think you can cap him at a certain, ceiling because he's continued to show you that he's going to improve and keep getting better and work hard at it.
Every week that you come in here, I think we ask you to come up with new words to describe Brock Bowers, but he did make the Pro Bowl.
He did. Yeah, that's a great accomplishment for him.
I guess what does that say about the kid come in as a rookie and make a Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the things that we've said before. The preparation on a day-to-day basis. The humility. But the inward confidence, and he holds himself to such a high standard that, and he works every day to hit that. You know what I mean? It's not just what he does on Sundays; it's what he does throughout the week, and the making the Pro Bowl, breaking all the records. That's just a product of that, as well as his athleticism and talent. But there's a lot of guys with talent, but his ability to work day in, day out, take care of his body so he's healthy, he's playing at the top of his potential, understanding defenses, football IQ, everything. I mean, you can't say a bad thing about the guy, and really happy for him and all that he's achieved personally.
It's almost kind of silly to think that there's another step for him, but there is another step for him. And what is that? What's the next step for Brock?
I don't know. I think it's just like, I think he's going to continue to mature. I mean, he just turned 22 years old. So like, just as a man, like growing into his body, I think, there's more athleticism in there. I think, it's just maybe, instead of a run after catch and getting 15, I think as you go, there's going to be that extra tackle broken and, the bigger touchdowns. I mean, again, moving around more, everything that we can do schematically, but I think he's just going to keep getting better physically. And then that's going to be even more explosive and all those things. We know he's going to work at it, all that. I mean, he's going to get a better feel for what teams are going to do to try to defend him and what different defenses in the NFL look like, because he's only seen, 16 games worth at this point. What you see in practice, all those things. So he's got a great feel for it on every aspect of it, physically, mentally, the preparation. So there's just, the margins are small. It's just going to be slight improvements. And then again, there's going to be, his yards per catch might go up. I don't know if he can catch more than 100 and whatever catches he's got in a season, but I mean, I'm not saying he can't either. So.
Taking over as the interim OC to now, what do you think has been some of the biggest area improvements that you've noticed from then to now?
I don't know. I think the guys, like I talked to the guys and I said that I truly feel like we're playing our best football right now going into the last game of the season. And that's really the goal. Like even obviously when I took over, but at the beginning of the season, like you want to be doing that and you want to be going into the playoffs. Obviously that's not the case for us, but you want to be playing your best football in December and then into January, because then that shows like the work you're doing in practice during the week, and guys are continuing to get better. And I feel like that's the case. I truly believe that. And I talk to them as a credit to them to continue to work hard through a 10-game losing streak, not let the season get away from you, and work collectively as a team, but also individually on their own skills. And we've had a lot of different guys play, but I just feel like, they're bringing it every week. And just when you see that, like that gives you a chance. And I know you're looking for more like statistical things and everything like that potentially, but I just think like the confidence and the speed and physicality that we play with, that showed up this past game and has really shown up to me, in the past couple months is what I'm most pleased with.
I want to take you back to Brock Bowers just really quickly. What does it say about him, you having been around so many NFL players, that anytime anyone brings up his stats, he automatically refocuses it on it was attached to a win and that feels good, or the team needs, it's all about the team improving and how I help my team.
Yeah, it speaks to his humility. His football journey is a little bit uncommon. It's not like he was like some powerhouse high school or whatever. He kind of got into the recruiting game late and didn't play senior because of COVID, and obviously ended up at Georgia, which is a big time thing. But I don't know. It's based on just how he is. It's hard to explain because it's not common, but it's almost like he hates it when you talk about, his personal stuff. And I always try to compliment him because I want to let him know like how impressed I am with what he's doing. And he just kind of says, okay, thanks. And then kind of walks away, So it's a credit to him as a person, and his priorities are definitely in the right place.
Two more guys need practice.
What did you see that allowed you to have success running the football last week that you hadn't seen in previous weeks?
I think, the physicality, our offensive line did an outstanding job. They were just, it wasn't always perfect. Like we didn't necessarily get to the second level all the time, but we moved the defensive line. And like I pointed out to the guys on Wednesday, they had Monday and Tuesday off, but I pointed out like how the running backs, Amir was making a cut, but he was making his cut a yard into the defense as opposed to having to make that cut a yard behind the line of scrimmage. And the first guy, the linebacker, like he scraped over the top, and we did such a good job on the D line that we didn't maybe get to the linebacker, but he wasn't even touching Amir until 3.5 yards down the field. And now Amir did a great job of being decisive and breaking tackles. And it was a combination of those two. I mean, Michael Mayer did an outstanding job on their defensive ends, who are good players, obviously. But it was just the physicality. And then the other thing, too, like we did a really good job on third down, especially early in the game. And when you convert third downs, that allows you to call more runs, and then now you get the bulk carries. Amir had 20 carries for 115. We called 38 runs throughout the course of the game. And that doesn't happen if you're not making the plays in the passing game. And we converted on some third down runs as well, but converting the third downs is what gives you the at-bats.
Obviously, you're interim OC, and I know you've been here for a few years now, but have you given much thought to what could come next for you personally after?
No, I mean, obviously I'm a human being, so you do think about that stuff. But I'm focused on this game and the Chargers, and I got a lot of confidence in my ability as a football coach. I feel like, we've done a nice job here. Maybe we didn't get the wins, but I feel like I said, we're growing and we're progressing in the right direction. So whatever happens, I mean, that's out of my control. I control what I can control, and that's trying to get these guys ready to go play and have a great game and finish the season the right way against a very good division opponent that's going to the playoffs. So after that, again, it's not up to me, and I'll be ready. I'm a freaking NFL football coach, so it's happened before. It won't be the last time either. So it's good. Thank you, guys.
Good luck.